Hello, Karen Bierce here, and I am here today to do a flip through of the latest Eileen Hull dies. These were released by Eileen Hull on February 1st, and most of them became available. I'll go into that in a bit. But basically, this is the latest release, so we're kind of excited. And I'm putting this video in with my tutorial in that just to give you a better idea of what I've done. But if you go to my blog, or if you've seen this on my blog, I'm also going to post this on YouTube, you will get to see, I have step outs on my blog, and I have a lot more information there. But as I said, these were, we had a release party, and it was on Eileen Hull Designs Facebook page. If you want to go check that out, it was fun. A lot of the other designers came on from the team and showed what they had done or gave a little sort of walkthrough of some of their projects. So that was great. And then you should also join the Eileen Hull fan club if you're not already a member, because Eileen does 2 videos a week showing the latest dies. You sometimes get sneak peeks, and she goes through how to put them together. There's just a ton of great content. It's basically 2 free videos a week. So, it's great. And if you go on it's the Eileen Hull fan club on Facebook, and answer the questions so that we know you're not a robot or a spammer, and then we'll happily introduce you. It's a great group of people. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of encouragement, and it's very positive, and we just play and have art and enjoy Eileen's releases. So these were the 3 die cuts that Eileen came out with. The first one is a big die, and it is the base of my book. It's the Folio journal, which is awesome. But basically, it's a big over 12-inch die cut that you use with the Big Shot. It cuts through many of the heavier materials like chipboard, mat board, corrugated cardboard, leather, that kind of stuff. And again, if you go to the fan club, Eileen plays with these all the time. She has a lot more information. I'm going to be doing more YouTube videos, so you might be able to catch some from me as well. This is the Mandela die. I hope you can see this. I just printed these out because I don't have the packaging. This is what the Mandela die looks like. And I'm not usually a big fan of mandalas, but this one I really like. I love the intricacy of it. I love the design. I think Eileen did a fantastic job on this. And you'll see more close up when I go through how I made my cover. But that was the other die that came out. And the third one is the Folio page pocket and flowers, and this is a Thinlit die set that has I think there's 12 different dies in it. And again, as we go through, I will go through in depth the different combinations that come with it. But there's a pocket, back journal page, and also the flowers and leaves as well. So a lot of fun. Highly recommend them all. And again, we're going to be using them quite a lot in the next few months. Most of them are available now. The only one you might have challenge getting is the Folio. There was a lot of issues with it. I don't know if you heard the news story of one of those big tanker ships coming in from China, and they basically had an accident at sea. And some of the dies ended up at the bottom of the ocean. I'm not sure if it was Eileen's, but the bottom line was a lot of them had to be remade. They were either damaged or lost. And so the Folio, if you have not been able to get a hold of the Folio journal, that is why. I'm doing this video on March 4th, and it's coming any day now to stores near you. So fear not, you will be able to get your hands on this die. So let's get started. So the Folio, I'll give you the measurements of how the book ends up. It's basically just about 5 inches by 5.25, about 5.25 inch surface area for the cover. I cut mine. I took my book and I cut the inside out. So when you get this die cut, it basically comes like this with this added piece. And what that does is when you open it up, that can create a pocket. There's an additional piece that comes along the bottom and sides, so you can make a top loading pocket or a front loading pocket, or you can just have it be a flip as well if you like, and make sort of a gatefold journal. Here's the measurements of this piece. Is a little bit smaller, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inches, and it just adds this really nice extra element. The challenge was I made my book so fat I couldn't, or my inserts so fat, I knew that I wouldn't be able to include this. So it gave me another option, which was to cut it off, and I can make the full book for another day. So that's how mine came out. The spine is fabulous on this book. The spine is, and this is just doing overlapping. I basically overlapped by 1. So this spine normally can come with 5. It comes with 5 inserts. And so by shortening it down to 4, I still have a 2-inch wide spine. So just wonderful and chunky. But I really wanted, when I made this book, I decided that I wanted it to be a junk journal that has photos of my year in it. And what I did was I wanted 4 signatures. So that's what I've made. So 1 for each quarter kind of idea. Well, let's go through it really. I don't want to spend too much time because there are tutorials. If you go to my blog, I have a full tutorial. I'll have links below for part 1 and part 2. And then there's also a 3rd link, which has all the blog hop release. There's so much inspiration. You need to check out the blog hop release that we did. I think it was February 1 was when we did it. And there are multiple artists that were involved. And there's just so much great inspiration using these dies. So let's get started with the flip through. Tons of techniques. I love techniques if you know my art at all. I love techniques. I love doing mixed media and crackle paste and inks and sprays and dyes and stamps and all the things. Let's use all the things. So my cover was basically the Mandela die. I used it as a stencil. And if you can see, look at that. Just lusciousness. We've got paste and crackle paste. And then I used Distress Inks, sprays, stain, and oxide for the cover. Then it was hit the high points with wax to make this beautiful sort of metallic, help the image pop a little more. I made a flower. I'm not known for my flower making skills, but I did make this flower. And again, the tutorial for this is on my blog, as well as taking this cute little middle flower that comes with this die. That's part of this set that again coordinates with the journal or the folio journal. And I made these little spiky sun rays, almost another type of flower. And this was cut also from that set, as well as just adding some sequins and then adding some metallic interest, which is always fun. The spine was stamped with archival ink, and I did do a coat of embossing, clear embossing, Eileen's glistening glass. And then the back cover was kept fairly simple. I just did the same motif and left it at that. I was tempted to put something on here. Maybe I might put a quote on here. I'm not sure. I did add this really cool closure that I'm already going to have to probably expand. But basically it just simply clips onto the, this is from Prima. This is a binder clip that has different words on it. I know they've just, their newest release, they have more of them, which is great. And I've just adhered it to my cover and then used the binder clip with this big lobster claw closure. You can buy these all over the place. That comes with this jump ring that is designed to make, key rings. And then I just added my initials with some Tim Holtz charms, KB. So I thought that was kind of fun. And that's the cover. I also added Capture Life's Moments, which is perfect for the theme of my book. And that's another Tim Holtz word band put on there. My favorite part, I love making these ribbon closures or ribbon add-ons, or just adding all different kinds of ribbons and charms and fun things. I love the sound of them being clunky and chinkly, and I don't know what you call it, clinkly. Making these fun sounds. But also I did another lobster claw clip so that I can easily take this off. If I want to work in the book directly from the book, I can take that off and set that aside. And it also helps protect all of these fun charms. There's just charms from all over the place that are some of my favorites. And some of them are put on with thread and some of them are put on with wool yarn, for example. Added jump rings, tied them on. Some are sari ribbon with the charm just attached right on there. But just so much fun. And I did leave some room for some extra charms that I may pick up throughout the year. Because this, again, the design is for the year. One of my favorite elements, and I don't know if you can see this. Just so fabulous, so fabulous. And this was just a piece of cardboard covered in adhesive foil and then run through an embossing folder, alcohol inked, and then covered with a coat of glossy medium. And the cover was covered in that as well to protect the crackle from chipping off. Because the book is going to be handled, I like to coat my products so that, again, they don't get damaged with handling. If it was a canvas on the wall, I probably wouldn't do that. But because this book will be handled, that's what I do. And then this was just adhered with a brad and a jump ring, or a brad and a gear, and then attached with one of those Tim Holtz tiny paper clips. I will do the same thing again and put it on the back, but just so that I could show. I didn't quite finish that off, but I will do that at some point. So let's get into the book a little bit. There's all kinds of junk paper and gel press. Those papers that we have in our stash and we don't know what to do with them, I'm trying to use those up. I use some digitals in throughout here, and this is just the start of the book. Again, if you go to my blog, I have more photos and whatnot. But this is one of the die cuts. I hope you can see that. And it creates this great little pocket. And that again comes from this set that has a die cut that will cut the page. So you could cut the page and then just adhere it onto your book. It's measured to fit. Then it has this pocket. And then it has all these various little flowers that are so fun. And this stem as well, that I think I used somewhere or intended to use somewhere. So yeah, a lot of, in fact, let me go get that for you. I'm going to show you how I store my dies while we're at it. I had to cut this in, but I get one of these 99-cent pencil boxes. And I just cut magnet sheets. You can get these from Lowe's, maybe Home Depot, but they're vent covers. And they come in a package of 3, and then you cut them down. And then I just used a corner rounder. I used the We Are Memory Makers because it's stronger. It's this one. And it can chomp the photos of the magnetic sheets, which is pretty amazing. And I use I think it's the 1/4 inch, but you can test and see which one works better. Then I just glue a piece of ribbon down below. And then I have a list here of the dies that I have. And this is where I put my Thinlit dies, and mainly just for Eileen, because for me it's easy to just grab this and go and create away. And then I use the ribbon, and that helps pull these up. And then it's just put from, I guess I started from book club 2 from working backwards. And now I guess what I should do is do this. And this is the Folio Page Pocket and Flower die. That is what it's called. So yeah, fun die basically. And it comes with, this is a corner pocket that comes with this that layers on top. And so when I made my pocket here in the front, essentially I just use this die. You'll see the size to get an idea of the size range. I just cut that, and then I put 1/8 adhesive here and here, the red line tape, so it's really good strong tape. But what you can do is you can cut this out, and it has tabs, and then you just fold over the tabs and put it in, and that creates your pocket. Actually, maybe that is what I did now that I look at it. No, I did. I used the whole thing. Okay, I thought I'd done just this piece. And then when this will fit into the inside of that, and it gives it a little bit of a border. Yeah, so I just used the pocket. But I also used, this is one of Eileen's as well, is that, let me see which one that is. So this is what's handy because I have it written down, and then I can flip through and see what dies I have available to me. So that one was from this die set, and all I did was cut a rectangle, and then I used the negative space and then pop that on top, and put a little quote in there, and then just did some dots. So that's from the, I think it's the bookmark tag pocket, I think. Yeah. So some of these aren't available. You have to check. Eileen has some on her Etsy site. She tends to carry some of the older ones that are sometimes harder to find as well. And so that's this one. On the cover, I took this, which is one of my favorite. That's the Sunburst. And they went there, as well as this little sort of sketchy round, which is this. It has an edge to it. And then just some sequins were added, and that was adhered down with the varnish, the glossy medium. I used the same. Originally, I had done these flowers with, let me see if you can see these. Yeah. I had done these flowers with the glistening glass embossing. And I really love that technique, especially if you're going to put sort of a more delicate flower or a more delicate element on the cover. It's a good idea to do. The challenge is when I then went to cover it with the gloss medium kind of ate the embossing off, which that was an interesting chemical reaction. So I just went back in and he glued these down with that same glue and then covered it up again. So that's two different ways you can do it. And the flower that I made with the layers, and again, the tutorials on my blog for this flower is just, I just left that alone and put that on top. There's also these cute little foliage leaves, which can be used for the inside, like as if they're veins for the inside of the leaf. It's kind of clever. And so, yeah, so that's the die, the pocket die. Very handy. Comes in handy to see on the cover. That's the mandala. And look at how intricate that is. Sorry for the glare. Look at how intricate that is. It's just amazing. I'm not a big fan of mandalas usually, but boy, I really love this one. It's just so pretty. You can see. So, yeah, and again, all the directions on how I made a stencil and whatnot are on my blog. So just made a pocket, popped in this cute digital owl printout with a Tim Holtz quote. Then I did utilize my gel press paper here and made a little, just put a little clip. This gives me the ability to clip things in and then decide where I want them to go. This was another Tim Holtz release by Sizzix. Love this die. Love it because the numbers are so big. It's a Thinlit die, but it's got letters and numbers. Just love it. And then with a bit of washi tape on the edge. Here we go. Every section basically has tags put in, inky mixed media tags, some catalog paper with maybe a strip of washi tape to give it a little bit of strength, maybe an envelope. This was Tim Holtz's abandoned paper was used. One of the things I did when I built my base was just to put craft cardstock, because then I can go in and add into there if I want as I build my book, because I don't know what my pages are going to be or my photos are going to be. There's this great little flip made with a bunch with sort of a bee theme that hopefully by the time spring comes along, I'll be putting photos of flowers and whatnot. This was a piece of paper that's in German, which is kind of fun. And again, another tag using Movers and Shapers edgelit dies. Or actually, it's not a mover and shaper, it's just an edge die cut, again from Sizzix. a Diane Reevely quote, because I figure that's a good thing. So here's the prime example. I don't know what photo's going to go in here, but I really like the quote. My age doesn't bother me. It's the side effects. And I can add the story in later, but it's kind of a holding spot to give me an idea of what I want to put in there. This was made as a side pocket and with an envelope tucked in. And these were some of Eileen's other dies. This was one of her, I think it was credit card element die, and flour and bread, and just some fun zhuzhing of the envelope. Again, using a little bit of collage. It's just basically a fun piece of paper and then added on a little mushroom sticker. And this is the back side. So now we've hit, this was the center. Again, the vellum is there. I like to put vellum on when you're using paper because it gives it some strength so it won't tear. The beauty of this book is you have multiple ways of using it. I made a naked spine, like I like to call it, where the spine is open and or hidden spine. You can't see where the threads come out because it's all done on the inside. But I can take this out if I want to work on a page. It just slides out. So that kind of makes it handy if I want to change something or add something in. I have the ability to do that. And then I can always go back in and sew in the inserts if I choose. And that's another way. That's one of the great things with Eileen Hull dies. You have some options. I could have sewn this in to start with. I could punch a middle hole in all of these and then sewn my books in if I want. I personally like to start with this, and then I can always change it if I want because I can always cut out the elastic and go from there. The other thing that's neat about this spine is Eileen made notches, so you can use hair elastics, hair bands, and just simply put a hairband elastic around each one, and now you automatically have your ability to slide in your spine. And there's the back of that same gel press. And then it's just a repeat. I did a tag again with the edge die. I made this cute little sort of journal card with a stamp and a butterfly to start working on it. Another piece of gel paper. There's another piece of the catalog paper. So I'm just kind of repeating it to make it easy. There's the craft cardstock. On this, I use the needlebook die as a pocket. And so the needlebook was just taken and put onto here. I did glue it up sort of in the middle and on the bottom, and then I put this clip to give it a little more stability to be able to hold this fun mixed media envelope, and then that just slides in there. Who knows what treasures I could put in there. And because I did that, I had these two holes that are in the needlebook die, and then I was able to add a few more fun charms. And away we go. And then the back side as well is another pocket that I can use. And there is some more of that German paper as the middle. Now, if I decide I don't want to have this paper for whatever reason, if I want to put photos or something else, I can simply pop on a piece of cardstock, a piece of pattern paper, and away you go. This one is a flip up. So again, there's the back of that craft paper, and I just made this combination where I made a, strip of paper that's adhered down, and now I have room to put a photo and to put journaling or however I want, and then just added a post-it note that was cut out for fun and for interest. This is a fun one, a great way to use the house die. One of the things we try and do with Eileen's design team is some of these dies, you're paying $30 for a die or $20 for a die cut. We want you to have multiple ways of using them. So this is the same die that was used to make this little charm, is the house ornament die. But instead, I cut the house ornament, I cut the house and used it just to create a pocket, and put a little piece of paper behind it for where the windows will go. And now this is a pocket. And this is one of Eileen's journal card dies. And then I used a playing card. I buy these playing cards, I collect them, and I don't use them. So I was like, you know what? Today's the day. Popped in this cute botanical playing card, added another fun die cut element with that little butterfly on front and back. And there we go. Just creates a fun pocket. And then again, the gel press and the back of the tag. And now we're on to signature number 3. For this one, I just did a large Ranger tag and added some spray ink with a stencil and again some washi tape. Here's another gel press, which is using a piece of paper that was cut actually from the beginning. You can see here, that was part of this piece of paper. Just wanted to make this little tab. And this was literally junk off my desk. And then a piece of washi tape. I think that's Dina Wakley washi tape. And there you go. And then here's the other flip side of that tag where I use the edge die on, I think they're called On the Edge. And I used it to cut out. And a lot of us have these supplies. We don't use them. You don't have to use an On the Edge if you don't have it, because I know most of them are discontinued. But I could have taken the mandala. I could have done a fun, funky element as the edge of that. So use your imagination. If you can't get a hold of some of these, look in your stash. Look to see what you have, or the newer dies and the newer releases that are coming out. Again, here's the back of that craft. Like I said, I just cut this out and popped that on as my background paper. This was using a Ziploc bag that was just kind of fun and textured. It's like a glossine bag, and I'm going to create it as an envelope somehow. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it yet, but probably pop a tag in there as well. And then we're back to the German book paper in the middle. So again, just switch this signature up a little bit from the other ones. And then back to the gel press. And then here is my 4th and final. Again, use the edger die on the edge die. Another gel press paper. This was another tag that I made that just had a bunch of mixed media stuff. The clock paper from the catalog. I believe it's a Sears catalog, and you can buy them on Amazon. And they're like, you can buy an old-timey Sears catalog, which is kind of fun. And then my German paper for the middle. And as you can see, as I get to the back of the book, I've done less. This was a project I did, and I believe I'll link to it in my blog post. This will be in part 2 of the blog post. But it was a project I did that creates these cute little envelopes that you can stick a photo or piece of ephemera or a tag in. And that's, as I said on my blog, I will link to that. And the last tag. And then the back piece was made from, again, I wanted to put the pockets. That was my original intent, was to make a pocket or make a box, make it into a box. The problem was I didn't have enough room. My book is too chunky. So what I did instead was I took the lid of the, oh my gosh, what die was that? I want to say it's the Trinket Box die, but I'll link below. And I just took the lid of it, and then I ran it through Eileen's Sunburst embossing folder, which is one of my favorites, spritzed it with some Distress Stain, and then hit the high points with a bit of copper paint. For the inside, I took a piece of, it's actually a P.F. Chang delivery bag, like the plastic bags when you do takeout, but it's like a adhesive, like a plastic bag, and I loved that it had the Japanese writing. I'm pretty sure I put it in sideways, so I apologize, not meaning to offend anyone, but I just love how that turned out. And then I can come along and tuck my tag or whatever else I want to go in there, but I just love that just adds this sort of fun window in this pocket. And it was just kind of a unique way, I thought, to use that die and make that pocket. And then that's the back of it. So there you go. There's my flip through. I can just, again, when I decide to put the book on the shelf, I can just come along and slide this through, slide this in. Of course, I won't be able to do it because I'm on a video. There we go. I can slide it through. I could clip through 2 if I want. And I've got my book. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the flip through and the information. Again, the links of products will be on my blog. And you just have a great day. I hope you get a chance to make one of these. They are so fun to make, and clearly probably fairly addicting to make, as I've already started a fabric one and another. So you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. See you in the next video.